I'm Jerica Hucke. I'm the Draper for the Joffrey Ballet.
How many friends?
For me, this piece feels simple but very detailed. I would say it's a highly cultivated piece of art based on our aspect of it. Everything is very precise. Everything has a very specific prescription to it that we are trying to follow to emulate the original.
How many years?
In terms of movement, the dresses are all silk or an approximation of. So you can see the full movement of the body, even though the pieces are supposed to look sort of period. And then with the men, we have taken suits and made them have a little bit more volume in the leg for movements. You can kind of see that when they're wearing like the more full clothes. They are really specific to the movement of the dancers. You know, they do a lot of moving their hands up in the air, throwing the hay around. And that's sort of emulated, I feel like, in the skirts and the shape of the rest of the clothes. Often I end up building kind of the weird stuff, anything that shows up that is not made of fabric. And we are working with thermoplastics, which we've worked with before. It is essentially a secondary torso that is made of a mesh plastic that we heat set. It has a little bit of a neck, and the dancer's head goes in this space, and then we will attach a shirt, like a fake shirt to the front and a fake tie. And the tie will be made of mesh so the dancer can see out of this panel where the tie is. So from stage, it'll look like the tie is laying on the outside of the shirt, but in reality, the shirt is folded over the edges of the mesh. And it's a very narrow window, so it takes some skill to dance in here.
This one will surely go down.
When you're building a piece like this where the reason everything has been so prescriptive, and even though it's simple, the dresses themselves are very detailed. And so, but you actually honestly don't really want anybody to be able to see the detail. You don't want anybody like staring at something so intently that they notice any of that stuff, even though we spent all of the time putting it in. But you do want them to see the overall picture of the whole piece. So we hope that as we're like doing all of this hand dyeing and doing all the color removing and making sure that everything fits in the world, that there are no individual pieces that take even like a slight step outside of the world that's been established by Ekman and by the designers on the piece.